guys, this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do a tutorial showing you how to make these little kind of folding booklets. So basically they've got a pocket here at the front. You've got little page booklets here on the inside, and you've got obviously a little pocket at the back. Obviously they're quite versatile, you know, because if you didn't want to have kind of these pieces in here, you could always kind of stitch some pages in and have it as a little booklet, or, you know, put some pages here as a little pad. You know, so I think they've got kind of a few different uses. Obviously, really, they're kind of designed to kind of paper clip in or possibly pop into a pocket, you know, because they're double-sided, and so, you know, to stick them down, you'd kind of obviously lose one of the sides. But yeah, hopefully I'm going to join the videos together, and we'll get cracking on the tutorial. So what you're going to need to do this kind of pocket is 2 sides of A4 paper. You know, so you could use plain kind of coffee dyed paper, you could use, you know, any paper that you like, just paper from a jotter, or, you know, anything you like, or you could obviously take some pattern paper from a paper pad and obviously cut it to A4 size. But I'm just going to kind of do it here with just some A4 paper. So take your first sheet. So I've got this one, and I'm going to kind of marry it with probably this one or possibly this, depending on kind of which looks best kind of in the end. So take your first sheet and then fold it in half, you know, I guess across the longest side. So you're folding it in half like that. And then what you want to do is fold it in half again, like that. So you've got kind of a little booklet going on. And then take your kind of, you know, your outer edges, I suppose, and just fold them down to kind of make little triangles. So you could kind of do that with it open, doesn't have to be. There we go. And then on the other side do the same thing. Oops. Like that. So this is kind of forming the basis of your, you know, little pocket. You could obviously kind of at this point use book page or anything inside it, you know, however you like to kind of decorate it up. I'm going to use this kind of patterned paper. So all we want to do is take a piece, and we're going to kind of glue it on the background here. So if I do, I'm going to do this piece here. So I'm going to kind of trim it roughly to the size. So I'll just kind of trim it down. Like that. Okay. I'm just going to kind of pop that in there like that. And then obviously I can trim around that once it's glued into place, so that it's not kind of, you know, overhanging the edges. So that's my first piece. And then I want to do the same for the back. So I'm just going to kind of take, I think, that one on the back. And again, I'm just going to kind of cut round that like that. Okay, what I should do probably is pop them the other way round, because then my really straight edges from the edge of the paper are actually kind of tucked in, and my scrappy edges that I've just cut are obviously on the outside. So I'm going to do it that way round. So all you're going to do is kind of open it out again, and you're just going to kind of glue these pieces down. So, you know, all you're really trying to do, oops, is just have it so you haven't got those white pages in there. You know, that's all we're kind of doing, is really just covering up the kind of white background. So we take our first piece. The glue's not really kind of coming out particularly brilliantly. Right, so we stick our first piece in like that. Let's just see whether I've got my little card here to be able to kind of spread that glue out. Oh, no. Oh, I don't know what's happened to my card lately. It's oh, there it is. Right. I thought it was lingering somewhere. Right. So that's your first one, and then we just want to pop our second one down on the other piece. Like this. Okay, take that one, just pop it in again like that. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, because when this is kind of folded, you're not actually going to see the insides, you know, these kind of the folds. It's going to be pretty well hidden. So if we just kind of demonstrate like that, it's going to kind of have that appearance. So just going to trim around the pieces that are kind of overhanging. So there's one, there's two, and just do this one. So I hope everyone's having a good day, getting some crafting in. It's a weird day here today, and you know, I'm filming these videos ahead, as I've said so many times lately, but it's kind of 1 minute it's sunny, the next minute it's raining, so it's very kind of peculiar weather at the moment that we're having. Certainly not what I would call resembling summer weather. Right, so what we're going to do now is pop something over this triangle, because again, you know, we just want it to look pretty really. So I'm just seeing whether I've got enough paper here to kind of do that triangle piece. I haven't really, so I'm going to have to take another piece here. So let me just grab another piece. So there we go. So I'll go for that, I think. Let me just, sorry, I'm just checking whether I've got any other paper that might be better. I've got my collage page, which we could use. No, right, I'm going to go for this one, I think. So trying not to dilly-dally and, you know, make some decisions kind of quick-ish, actually. That said, I'm going to go for this one. Right, so all I'm going to do is pop some glue down here, like that. Get rid of that little piece that's on there. And then want to obviously kind of pop that on at a kind of angle. Oops. Like that. Excuse my head, I'm struggling to kind of obviously see to line this up with the edge of that. So sorry to put my head right in the camera, but kind of sometimes you do struggle to kind of see. So then what I'll do is just snip that off, and we can do the other triangle. Oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on with me today. So trim that down like that. So we've got that piece there, then we're going to obviously do the same here. Just popping another piece on like that. So right, I'm going to kind of do that, I think, with the kind of scripty type piece that I've got kind of left. So again, just take your glue, cover that whole triangle. Like that, and then just kind of pop that on there like that. So on this one, obviously, I just need to kind of trim it across here in the first instance. Like that. And then we'll turn it over. Oops. Turn it over and trim it down here. I might have to cut that slightly longer so as I can actually get to it. Making a bit of a hash of this, I'm afraid. So it's not that easy doing it when you're trying to keep your head out of the camera, because obviously I kind of can't really get that close to kind of see, you know, nicely. So right, let's trim it down here. Oh, come on. Okay, got there eventually. Right, so you've got your two flaps then. So obviously our little kind of booklet folder thingy is going like this. Now I'm just going to glue it down, you know, along kind of both sides. You may want to kind of leave yours, you know, as a lifting flap. However kind of you want, really. You could have one as a little lifting flap, you know, however kind of you want, really. So I'm just going to glue mine down for the sake of this tutorial. But of course, you know, you could kind of have these as little lift up flaps with journaling space underneath. And then all I'm going to do is obviously down here, just run a little line of glue along there. So that's our first pocket done. And then exactly the same on this side. Like that. And then you just want to kind of then glue your kind of centre part down. So just run your glue down like that. Just so you've kind of got it glued. You know, obviously in hindsight I should have done these two bits first, but again, sometimes you're kind of doing things on video and kind of get the order of things kind of a bit mixed up. So you've got your pocket here, you've got your inside here, and then you've got your other pocket on here. So what you could do then is obviously inside here, you could just pop on kind of some plainer pieces for journaling. So I'm just having a look to see whether I've got any kind of plainer pieces. I may have some coffee dyed paper here, so just bear with me 2 moments. Sorry, my desk is even more of a tip today, if that's at all possible. So right, so all we want to do is kind of have 2 pieces. So I'm just going to kind of fold this in half. Like that. And then we're just going to trim it down kind of roughly about here, I think. And then here. Okay, so then inside, oh, they're still too wide. I thought I'd trimmed them down enough, but apparently not. So let me trim them quite a lot more. So just bring them in quite a bit more. That's better. So we're going to pop those in like that. So what we'll do is we'll just round the corners. So let me just get my corner rounder. Can you hear all that paper just laying around at the side? I think you'd be horrified if you could see the tip that actually is my desk. So I know I say that all the time, but seriously, it's a mess. But, you know, hey, that works for me, so I like it that way. Right. So we've got our little bits here. So we're just going to then glue this down. Like that. Okay, get one. I'm just folding this up so as I can kind of get it, you know, where the fold actually is. You know, see clearly where the fold is. So I'm just smoothing that out. I'm going to pop this one down, which actually I'd probably prefer it this way down. This is just coffee dyed paper, but sometimes kind of the, you know, you prefer the markings on one side to the other. That's what I find. So I just slightly preferred the other side of this for some reason. I couldn't tell you why. Not vastly different, but there was just something about it I preferred. Right, and again, just kind of smooth that out with my card. And then obviously you may want to decorate it up. So if I just pull in some kind of fussy cut pieces. So I've got these here. So on this side, maybe we could have these little doves. Might be quite nice. I haven't tried fussy cutting these doves yet, so this is kind of an experiment. This is the first for me, but hopefully they're going to be okay. I know I've said this recently, but I actually find fussy cutting kind of flowers and shaped things a lot easier than cutting, you know, circles, which are, you know, just very obvious. If you kind of get them wrong, it's glaringly obvious that you've kind of got that wrong. So yeah, for me this is kind of preferable really, and actually so far anyway this is proving not to be too bad at all. I'm not going right up, I'm kind of doing what you call kiss cutting, which is just, you know, kind of going very close but not quite up to the edges like that. Okay, nearly done. Let's cut that one at the top. Okay, that one. Ah, nearly there. Right. There we go. So just pop that to one side. So we've got our little doves there, and then we could have maybe one of these little kind of pharmacy labels. In fact, I've got one here. Just cut that one out. Obviously I don't need to kiss cut this because this one's nice and straightforward to cut. Okay, put those to one side. You know, just something like that. So I'm just going to ink it up slightly because you can obviously see the white of the paper here, you know, where I obviously couldn't get in between the birds, and obviously where I've cut around that. So I'm just going to ink it up slightly. Oops, just to disguise really the white of the paper. That's that one. And then this, just ink this a little tiny bit, not too heavily inked. like that. And we can kind of pop that there and there, I think. And then obviously, you know, my favourite thing is a bit of lace, so I might just pop a bit of lace there, kind of by the birds. Or we could have a little bit of lace kind of running along here. I might just ink along here because where I've obviously cut that close to there, you can kind of see it slightly. So I'm just going to ink that a little bit. And then I'm just going to do the same here. Okay. Right, so I'm just going to glue this down. Start committing to what I'm doing here. I'm just going to check that I am still filming. I've become a little bit terrified since I had that blip. You know, where my iPad kind of ran out of space and I hadn't noticed and it stopped filming. So, okay. So we've just got that on there. And then should have some pearly trim, I thought, somewhere, but now I can't see it. So we could have a little bit of pearl trim or something. So just bear with me. Okay, so I like how that looks. I'm going to use some of this fabric glue, which I'm still persevering with. So I just pop that down like that. Again, just grab some tissue to kind of press that in. I mean, the only purpose of the tissue really is to save me getting it completely all over my hands. But okay. That's it. Right, pop that down like that, and then really press that down, make sure it's properly stuck. Oops. A bit of glue oozing out there. Okay, so we could have a bit of pearl trim or something there. Got some buttons here that we could kind of pop a couple of buttons on. That one. I don't like the other one quite so much, but maybe kind of those two quite like. So I'm just going to glue this button here. Like that. You can glue this one here. Like that. Oops. Oh, got glue threads hanging literally all over me now. Right, and then we're just going to glue this little bit of pearl trim across there. Like that. Oops, get rid of that piece. Okay. And then obviously on this side, we haven't really done anything so far. So we could just kind of pop something that's quite flattish down because, you know, I don't want to kind of bulk it out too much because it may be that this would be kind of paper clipped in or maybe kind of inside a pocket or something. So around here. So again, you know, as you can probably see, I'm just kiss cutting around this, so kind of we got that small white edge, but not too much. Get rid of that. So we could have that, and maybe just something else I'll just cut this one out. This is just on copy paper, these, so that's why it's very flimsy when I'm cutting it. But again, I just actually thought, to be honest, quite handy, you know, when pieces are just being glued down, to use very thin pieces, because you know, they're not bulking it out at all then. So just ink this up. Like that. Drink this one now. Kind of have those, I think, a bit just like this. I'm just going to kind of glue this one down here. Kind of have a little bit of lace somewhere, so if I just cut that piece here, cut this tiny piece here, oops, just wondered whether we kind of needed a little bit kind of going up there or something. So oops, just check that I've got that the right way up. I'm just going to kind of pop that there like that. Then we'll pop this one down in here. Just like that. And then just to kind of finish this off, maybe a little bit of pearl trim across there. So just kind of hot glue that on like that. Okay, so then what we can do is just, if I grab in some of the pieces here to my side of me, and we'll just cut out a couple of journaling cards that we're just going to slot into those pockets. So we'll just cut this one out. Oh, I think I've made a terrible job of cutting that for some reason. It's very crooked on that side. Not sure what happened there, but never mind. So we'll pop that one in this pocket. In fact, in this pocket. And then on the other side, we'll perhaps do this one. Just didn't want to kind of sit here overthinking this, so I've just, you know, taken any old journaling card really that would just look okay with it. So there we go. Cut that out. Like that. Just tuck that one in there, and then actually I just then suddenly thought I might like to have a little label kind of at the bottom, so I'm just going to cut one of these little label pieces off. Sorry, excuse the shouting, obviously somebody's being naughty downstairs, so that is my husband telling him off. Okay. There's that piece. Right. So might just pop this label on, might even just do it in half. So I always like, or not always, I mean, again, claim to always like doing the same thing, but I do generally quite like cutting kind of labels and tickets and things in half and just kind of having them on the edge of something. I think that's quite a nice way to use them. So, you know, I think that looks quite nice on there, just at the edge. And again, we might want one on this side, which now kind of has to be upside down, but that's fine. Or we could have it up here at the top. So let's just see how that would look. Oh, I might have it up there, I think. So I'm just going to kind of ink that again, just so it's slightly darker. Okay. Oops. Let me just pop that one there. There we go. So super cute, not fiddly, just required kind of a couple of sheets of A4, and it's got that nice squidgy feel that I'm kind of really enjoying at the moment, sticking kind of papers together and having that kind of squishy type feel. So you've got obviously journaling space in here, and then you've got, you know, your 2 pockets on the outside. So, you know, just a kind of simple piece really to put into your journal. So again, if I just pull the journal back in, as I say, I mean, you'd probably paperclip this in rather than glue it in, because obviously it is a kind of 2-sided, you know, double-sided kind of piece. But, you know, you could kind of, if I just stand up and just check that I'm in frame, you know, you could kind of hook this over onto a page. Oops. Like that, and kind of paper clip it onto a page like that, and then you'd kind of see it obviously from either side. Or of course, you know, you could just clip it onto a page kind of at the top or to the side, you know, on a kind of page like that. So, you know, just a kind of little simple fold out, I think. So I hope that you like it, and I'd love to see them if you decide to make any. And yeah, thanks very much for watching today. Thanks then, bye.